Hey everybody, Shane here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, going for the Leaving Home achievement. This one is going to best be done in private games. This is going to be done from the victim side. This is to do every single type of escape on the family house map. So once you are ready, make sure you get into the first game. There's going to be 5 different forms of escape that we need to rattle off. The start of all these games are pretty much going to be exactly the same. You want to make sure you leave your spawn room and you're going to meet up with the Leatherface player at their spawn point, which is always going to be basement storage in the middle of the map. So once you have rendezvoused here with the Leatherface player, you're going to need to wake up Grandpa, so make sure you make a ton of noise, either by finding a nearby bone curtain and just running through it back and forth, or you can find a door to slam open and shut over and over. So once you have Grandpa woken up, you're going to head on over to the basement door. You're going to need to have the Leatherface player come in to unlock it for you, so make sure you have that happen. That's going to be the quickest way of getting this thing open, and it's going to save us the trouble of needing to find a lockpick and playing the lockpicking mini game. So once you get that door open, we should be able to head up to the surface. We're going to go for the easiest form of escape first, which is going to be the generator escape. So once you get to the top of the stairs, you're going to want to take a left and you're going to go straight through this door right here. This is going to take you into the living room. You're going to cut across to this door. This is going to put you at the front of the house where the front door is going to be. Make sure you bring the Leatherface player over, and then they're going to unlock the front door for us, which again is going to save us the trouble of needing to find a lockpick and then pick the lock ourselves. So make sure you have them unlock the door for you, which is going to allow you to have access to the front yard. Once you are out there, you're going to be on the lookout for the generator. Most of the time, it's going to appear at the barn, which is going to be off to the right down this path right here. It can also appear on the complete opposite side of the front yard on the left side facing away from the house. So if it's not over here by the barn, do check the other side. But the generator is going to look like this. Basically, it's going to be an oil tank on an X-shaped stand with the actual generator next to it. You're going to go up to the generator, make sure you hold the X button, and you're going to keep it held until your character shuts it off. Once you shut off the generator, it's going to turn off the electric fence at the end of the driveway. And once you do shut it off, your character should be able to safely escape down the driveway. So once you have the electricity off, it's time to head in that direction. You're going to basically follow the tire tracks right here down this long dirt road. It is a pretty long journey, so make sure you hold down that sprint button in order to save yourself a little bit of time. But nonetheless, you are going to get to where the electric fence used to be, and now that the electricity is going to be off, you should be able to pass through it. And then once you get to where the fence line forms a T-shaped intersection, you're going to have 2 choices. You can go either left or right. Both of these are going to count as a different escape route, and we are going to have to do both of them in 2 separate games in order to get both of them to count for the achievement. So make sure you choose one, and then make sure you remember which one you chose so you can do the opposite the next game. For this run, we're going to go with the right path, which is going to be the one with the dead armadillo that you see while loading into this map. So make sure you take that right and then just head down the path, make your escape, and that's going to be the first one out of the way for the achievement. So moving on to escape number 2, it's going to be almost exactly the same as the previous one. We're going to do all of the same things, meet up with the Leatherface player by their spawn, make a ton of noise to wake up Grandpa, have Leatherface open up the basement door for us. We're going to head up to the surface, then we're going to head over to the front door, make sure you have Leatherface unlock it for you. Then we're going to go out to the front yard, we're going to look for the generator. We're going to check the barn first. If it's not there, we're going to check the opposite side of the yard. Once we do find the generator, we are going to shut it off. That's going to get the electric fence down at the end of the driveway. We are then going to head down the driveway, but this time, instead of heading to the right side, we're going to go to the left. So do remember, this is going to count as a totally different form of escape for the sake of the achievement, but make sure you get this one in, and that should take care of both of the generator escapes. Moving on to escape route number 3, this one's going to also be pretty easy. However, in order to save a ton of lockpicks, you are going to need to have the family member player follow you quite a bit. So make sure you meet up with Leatherface by their spawn again. Make sure you make enough noise to wake up Grandpa, and then Leatherface is going to unlock the basement door. Make sure both of you head up to the surface. Once you get to the top of the basement stairwell, we're going to head through the door that's going to be off to the right, and that's going to put us in this room right here, which is going to be the back porch. We are then going to head through the door that takes us into the backyard, so make sure you take this door out. Once you are here, we're going to need to pass through all of this fencing right here. You can normally crawl through this crawl space. If it's not there, make sure you just go around on the right, but you're going to get to this locked gate. You're going to need to bring Leatherface over, and they're going to need to unlock it, or you can use a lockpick to pick it, but that's going to take longer. Then, to get past the next set of fencing, there's going to always be a barricade off to the left that you can jump over. Leatherface is going to need to use their chainsaw in order to break it down. If you don't want to take that path, there's also going to be a gap in the fence that you can slide through, but of course Leatherface isn't going to be able to do that, so make sure you have Leatherface take their own path if you do go down through the fence. Nonetheless, you are going to keep heading in this direction, and then eventually you're going to get to another gate. Thankfully, this one isn't going to be locked, so make sure you open this one. This is going to put you over here, and then we're going to need to disarm this electric fence right here. So if you get to the gate, you're going to notice there's going to be a cable that's coming out of it. You're going to want to follow this cable, and it's going to take you to one of the cars. Inside one of the cars is going to be the car battery. You're going to need to hold the X button in order to turn the battery off, which should disable the electricity, allowing you to pass through safely. Unfortunately, the gate's also going to be locked, so you're going to need to have the Leatherface player come in to unlock it for you, or again, if you happen to pick up a lockpick, you can pick it yourself, but that's going to take slightly more time, and we're trying to save as much time as we can. So having the family member unlock the gate for us is going to be preferential. Once the gate is open, we can pass on through, which is going to give us the car battery escape, and that's going to be 3 of 5, so we can move on to the next one. Moving on to escape number 4, this is going to be our penultimate escape. It's also going to be the first of the 2 more complicated and involved ones. But we're going to do the same thing, meet up with Leatherface over by their spawn, make a ton of noise to wake up Grandpa, have Leatherface open up the basement door, and that's going to allow us to get to the surface. Now, this is going to be the first of the objective required escapes, which is going to be the Fusebox escape. So we're going to need to first find a fuse. The fuse can appear in a few different locations. The 2 most convenient ones are going to be the one in the living room, which is going to be on the wall right here to the right of the fireplace. If it's not there, I'm going to recommend that you check the pantry in the back porch, which is going to be through this door right here. So make sure you look to the left after passing through the door, and it's usually going to be on the left wall of the pantry. Now, once you grab the fuse, the location of the fuse box should be highlighted for you, so you shouldn't have any trouble in finding it. It's usually going to be on the 2nd floor, but before we head up there, we are going to need to grab a lockpick. There is going to always be a blue box right here by the door on this cabinet, so make sure you pick up a lockpick from that and then head upstairs. Make sure you keep an eye out for the fuse box highlights, and then we're going to head in that direction. Once you get to the actual fuse box, you are going to need to hold the X button in order to break open the panel. This is going to take our lockpick, so make sure you do that. That should get the panel off, allowing us to get access to the actual circuits. Make sure you insert the fuse with the X button, and then make sure you hit the X button again to repair it. You are going to play this little mini game. It's basically going to be a match the shapes and do a little math equation thing. So all you have to do is just make sure you match up the shapes and make sure that the numbers equal the amperage displayed. So for the top row right here, we're going to do 2 yellow hexagons, and then we're going to make sure that the 2 numbers add up to 15. And then the bottom, we're going to do 2 green circles, and we're going to make sure the amperage adds up to 12. Now, do keep in mind the circuits are going to vary from game to game, so make sure you do whatever it is that applies to your current situation. Once you are able to fix the fuse box, however, you are going to unlock the fuse box exit, which is always going to be in the basement. So we're going to quickly bolt down to the basement, as it's only going to be open for a limited amount of time, and the window is actually going to be quite tight, so we're going to need to book it there. Luckily, it's always going to be pretty relatively close to the path that we took to get up from the basement, so make sure you take that path back down. Make sure you take a right into the tunnels right here. Make sure you hug that right wall, and this is going to lead to the exit. Quickly make it through the door before it can shut on you, and that should take care of the Fusebox escape. Alright, fifth and final one. We're going to do the exact same thing as the rest of them. Start out by leaving your spawn and heading over to the Leatherface spawn room. Make a ton of noise, get Grandpa to wake up, and then make sure you have the Leatherface player unlock the basement door for you so both of you can get up to the surface. This time around, we're going to be on the lookout for the pressure valve. So the pressure valve can appear in a few different locations. The easiest place to find it is going to be on the second floor. You are going to want to check the bathroom as well as the various bedrooms for a pipe sticking out of the wall, and then you're basically going to pull the pressure valve off of said pipe. It is going to be in a random area, so make sure you try to be as thorough as you can while you're up here, but it should be pretty obvious once you do notice it. And then once you have it, you are going to have the pressure tank be highlighted for you. Now, if you can't find it whatsoever on the second floor, it can also appear by the pantry at the back porch, so make sure you check that location as well. Nevertheless, once you do find it, you're going to hit the X button to pull it off of the pipe that it's stuck to, and then we're going to pocket it, and then we're going to be on our way to the pressure tank. Again, it's going to be highlighted for you, so you shouldn't have any trouble finding it. It's always going to be in one of the yards. Once you are able to find the pressure tank, you're going to attach the pressure valve handle with the X button, and then you're going to mash the X button in order to turn it. Once you do finally manage to turn it, it's going to overload the opposite pressure tank over by the pressure valve exit. That one is always going to be in a fixed location. It's always going to be in the front yard to the left going away from the house. So make sure you make your way over to the front door. Make sure you have the family member unlock the front door if it's still locked for whatever reason. Then you're going to take a hard left and then head over to the left side going away from the house. You should notice the pressure tank should be steaming right here. Then you're going to just need to wait until the gate opens. It's going to be on a timer, so it is going to be semi-random to when it does open. So you aren't going to be in a terrible rush to get here or anything, but you are going to have to be here as the gates are being open. That being said, if you do end up coming here a little early, you are going to have to wait for the thing to actually overload, but once it does, you should be able to pass through the gate, which is going to get you the pressure valve exit. That's going to be all 5 taken care of, which should net us the achievement. So there it is. This one is going to be worth a total of 10 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.